rolling?
We are.
Alright guys, so just finished. I'm going to give you a couple cues that I worked on for the squat today. So some tips on how to get a better squat. Like today was a pretty heavy day, so usually form breakdown happens a lot in that day. So I thought, you know, it's appropriate time to do a good squat video, like how to squat, sort of tips to work on. And I did hit 90 for 5, which is a PR. Stoked, which is pretty good. And my estimated 1 rep max now is probably around 115. But yeah, just come over here. It's too noisy. Just come over here. Too many cars disrupting this.
Too many cars? There's one car.
Yeah, one too many.
One too many. Oh, harsh words.
Look how deserted this car park was. Isn't that depressing?
Well, it is. The shops are closed, mate.
Doesn't matter. The gym should always be busy.
Oh,
every single car park should be filled with people wanting some more games. Anyway.
Mate, we've only got 4 squat racks, so I wouldn't be.
He is the one.
I wouldn't be.
Anyway, so some tips that I sort of think of in my brain or keep in my head. Think of in my brain.
Think of in my brain. Where else are you going to think of it?
11 o'clock.
I have thoughts in my feet sometimes.
Hey, look, there's a cat, bro, over there. So some things I keep in my mind when I'm squatting, whether it be a heavy day or a light day. The first thing is breathing. Like that's a main thing I keep in my mind, is to make sure I'm bracing properly. A lot of people don't like brace properly, and then the weight feels heavier than it actually should feel for them. And if you don't brace properly, it's gonna, you know, not only is it a mental thing, but also a physical thing. If you don't keep a tight core, the weight is going to be heavier, and it's going to feel heavier even on the unrack. So when I unrack the weight, I want to brace my core as I unrack it, so that the unrack feels lighter. I feel more confident going into the lift, and then after each rep, I'm sort of bracing. If you have a belt, brace against the belt, sort of as a cue to know that you're keeping that core tight. If you feel your belt loosen up, that's when you know your core is gonna it's loosening up. Even when you're not wearing a belt, you can feel that anyway. So make sure that you're keeping that core tight, you're bracing. That's going to help huge. If you don't, it's going to bleed a lot of power. The second thing is to do with foot placement. So I like to think of a cue is sort of grabbing the ground, or pretending I'm just grabbing onto the ground with my toes, and I'm trying to spread the floor apart. So what this will do is it'll keep my knees from caving in. So make sure if I'm spreading it apart, my knees won't cave in. They'll come straight down and straight back up. And it also engage my glutes. So if you sort of twist out on the spot, you feel those glutes get engaged, and that's going to help build more power into the squat, engage the glutes better, make the weight feel lighter, and lead to some more gains. That's the second tip. The third tip is putting the pressure on the heels. Especially, I've noticed this a lot, because when I had jumper's knee, it would hurt heaps to put pressure on my heels. It would put more pressure on my knee joints, so I would want to go forward. But to keep a cue in your mind is to make sure that you're staying upright. If you're like this going into the squat, obviously your weight's going to go onto your toes. So make sure you're just back, putting that weight on your heels, and you can feel it on your heels. Not too much when you fall back, but just feel that as a cue. One thing you can do is get little, maybe 5-pound plates, and you can put it underneath your feet, underneath your heels, and that'll help sort of press back onto those plates. So that's the third tip. Fourth tip is sort of when you're holding onto that bar, don't have your elbows out like this or
yeah,
like
that's
that,
it.
but bring it in. That'll engage the lats, keep a tighter back. A lot of people don't do that. They don't keep a tight back when they squat, which is huge. It's just your whole body has to be tight, not just your core. But yeah, do those things, and I guarantee you, if you're not doing those already, your squat will go up a little bit of technique fixes. But anyway, I'm out. Got to end it with a sick intro, outro. Oh, damn.
That's alright.
It's alright.
I'll compensate.
I'll compensate. No, don't show them, bro. They're not ready. They're not ready.